recording. Okay, recording. Should we? Oh, there's Miss Sally. Hi, Sally.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I am good. I just finished the launch for Juanita.
Oh, awesome. How did it go?
It went well. We'll see. They're sending wish lists and I'm having them send to both her and Tammy and me. So I'm gonna do like a little checkup with them, let them process the wish lists and see how they come up with the numbers. So
that's
little
awesome.
Training period. So it's fun. They're both excited.
Sally launched a new stylist last week, Tammy, and on Tammy's launch, Juanita, one of her friends, reached out to Sally and said, okay, I'm interested in learning more. And Juanita works with another company. And so I ended up talking to Juanita and she joined the night before. I guess she joined Wednesday and Sally launched her tonight. Tammy emailed me, Sally, just, she replied back to a welcome email saying how excited she was. And
good. She's fired up. She has 7 shows booked between now and the second week of December.
That is so,
and she works full time as a director of, it's like substance abuse and that kind of program. And so she's a busy lady.
That's awesome. Well, she seems real excited and very motivated, and clearly her friends love the jewelry because you just launched her last week on what, Monday night?
Monday. Yep.
Yeah. Well, congrats.
Thanks.
Okay. Should we get started, Sarah?
Sure, let's do it. So I am so excited that you guys are all here. You were probably here because you were invited by someone who recommended you or knows that you are an experienced person already working in our industry. And what we really are, our main goal tonight is to really share a program that we have at Park Lane that most direct selling businesses, at least we haven't heard of another one that offers a program like this called our Direct Appoint program. And basically it's a program where we recognize experience in the industry. So I thought we would start off maybe by telling you a little bit about myself and Tish Mefford, who is going to be taking over in a minute. I'll tell you a little bit about my story. And then we're going to share our programs at Park Lane with you and kind of get into more detail about what the Direct Appoint program really is all about. And basically, so my name's Sarah Clement. I'm a company vice president with Park Lane Jewelry. I have been with Park Lane for about 2 years, but for about 10 years before that, I was with another jewelry company. And I don't know, I loved my company. I loved my product. I thought I was a lifer. I was never going to leave. Had a team of over 1,000 women that I loved dearly. Love still. I should not say that in the past because I do love all of them. But the last 3 or 4 years of my time with that company were a little bit different. And I think we had gone through 3 compensation plan changes. I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 at least. And, it just felt like our volume was still growing, but my paycheck was shrinking. And we just had a lot of, we were adding in new products. A lot of things were happening. And as much as I loved the company, I kept hanging on, but I just felt like my calling was somewhere else. And I was watching some of the girls on my team that just weren't really able to, they were working so hard and they weren't able to earn the paycheck that I felt like they should be earning. And it kind of gave way for me starting to look for other opportunities. In fact, I was like, I'm done with direct sales. I'm out of here. I can sell ice to Eskimos. I'm going to go be a real estate agent. That was like my whole plan. And, I started talking to Tish, who was my upline at our old company. And, I think, it was hard for her to watch one of her top leaders in pain. And I know I wasn't alone. But it was hard. Like my girls kept losing their titles and all kinds of things like that. And I just wanted to help them. So I thought maybe I'm done with the industry. I'm going to go on, hindsight. In walks Park Lane and comes to me and says, we would like to talk with you about joining our company through our Direct Appoint program. And I didn't know what that meant, but I was like, I was pretty much a hard no, because I was like, I'm not even doing this industry. Like, you can't change my mind. And I'm certainly not going to go to another jewelry company. I'm not doing it. But anyways, I remember sitting there thinking, okay, what would I tell my daughter? or what would I tell a family member if they were being, offered just to hear information about another company? So I finally decided that I was going to take the meeting, and I sat down and started listening to what our CEO had to say about Park Lane. And I have to tell you that I was blown away by their programs for so many reasons. I wanted to say, like, the first thing I thought was great is that we have a program here called Rich Rewards, which is a program where we can earn up to $1,100 every month in free product. And that really spoke to me because at my previous company, we were having to spend a lot of money. Like I said, we had started bringing in new products. They were kind of changing out monthly. So a lot of my paycheck, and most importantly, a lot of my team's paychecks were going into products, right? So I was like, okay, $1,100 to get free jewelry. Like, who's paying for that? I don't understand. But anyway, so it was, a great way to get, keep my money in my pockets. And the other thing I really loved about it too is that, our CEO joked, he said, you're going to be swimming in jewelry. And I was hard to trust. It was hard for me to trust at that beginning. But then I was like, okay, what I found 2 years later is that I am swimming in jewelry in a good way. I'm able to use that extra product to build, build great rapport with my VIP customers. Thank goodness for that. Since COVID hit, I had no idea I was going to have to move my business all online. And I've been able to build, great relationships because I'm able to do giveaways all the time, and then also be able to give to my team as well. So the free jewelry was crazy. That was amazing. I also was really drawn to Park Lane because we have a Mercedes program. And I mean, I didn't think I wanted a Mercedes until I got one, but now I'm really excited about it. But I will say what really appealed to me was not that I could get it. It was the fact that they cater the levels to every level. At my previous company, I do feel like it was a lot of the top leaders that kept earning the trips and driving the cars. Well, we didn't have a car program, but going on the trips and things. And I love that we break it down here at Park Lane, where if you come in, if you're at this level, you have lower, standards. And as you move up the line, they work with what you're going with your title. And that's another great reason is titles, right? I mean, we all you guys work in this industry, you know what I'm talking about. Titles are important. And when you get your title taken away, it hurts and it can be a real big setback. And something that really drew me to Park Lane was the fact that when you are given a title, you never lose your title. I always, my friends who aren't in the industry, I was a top leader at my old company. And they're like, you start at zero the first of every month? And I was like, yes. And I have to work my way back up to that title every month. But at Park Lane, you don't do that. Like, you never lose your title. So there's not that feeling of loss or, oh, well, you were this, but now you're this, or now you got to sit in the back row. And it's for me, it's just constant positive repetitive behavior that makes you feel good. Plus, we travel. So that really spoke to my soul. I remember an old mentor of mine saying that her goal was to get her kids to like all 7 continents before they graduated high school. And I was like, gosh, what a great goal. But that'll never be me. And then I was hearing, these great programs that twice a year we travel internationally. So far, I've been here for 2 years. We've been to Italy, Greece, St. Martin, the Caribbean, and we've since earned a trip to Ireland and to Bermuda. However, we haven't gone on those trips yet because of COVID, but twice a year you get that opportunity and you can earn for more than 2 people, right? And again, it's not just the top earners at our company that win those trips. And that's really important to me as a leader. I also found that we have an awesome sale. Like, the customer, I didn't know I was a bargain shopper, even though I love me some TJ Maxx and things like that, because I like to know I'm getting good value. But I tell you what, when you buy 2 items here, your customers then get to shop half off. And I did not realize the brand loyalty that would create, because my other company represented a higher price point, and I think people loved it. But you spend $300-400, you don't want to come back and shop again, right? Here, I have a lot more customers that want to come back and shop with me because they didn't, spend all their money in one pop, and they felt good about the quality and the value that they were getting. Plus the Hostess program, I feel like I'm going to go on forever, but I do love our products. I'm getting excited. The Hostess program, I know a lot of companies do not even offer a free Hostess program. And we did at my previous company, but this one is just bar none the best one I've ever seen. An average hostess here gets $400 in free jewelry of her choice, which is pretty amazing to be able to sell that. And that's based on the number of orders they get, but not necessarily, a level of how much people have to spend. And you guys know, you've been into people's homes, and you know that hostess, you don't want the hostess feeling that pressure of, well, you know, my friends aren't big spenders. I don't want them to have to feel like, oh, just add, I don't want you to upsell my friends or make them feel uncomfortable. So as a rep, that really gives you power to say, you know what, they can just buy a pair of $20 earrings. Because that was the other thing that really drew me to this company, is that when you look online, if you got a chance to do that before you reached this call, maybe you notice that there's a wide variety of jewelry. I mean, there's everything from, you know, silvers to hematites to stones to, you know, bohemian style for like super trendy glam, all kinds of stuff. And what I realized was that that speaks to every little nook and cranny that I could possibly want to get to, which means opportunity for you. And like I said, our price point starts at 20 and goes all the way up to 200-ish, but you can shop it half off. So it's a really great value. I think the last thing I want to say is that really, really, really drew me. And when I made the final decision to partner with Park Lane, like, it was not easy to walk away from my team and from my girls. But I really was like, this company's been around for 65 years. I know Tish is going to talk a little bit about longevity, but I didn't know a company like this existed. In fact, I was very hard to trust at the beginning, but I have been proven time and time again that this was the best decision I could have made for myself, and my future team that I've been building, because I'm able to get into all these nooks and crannies that I never was able to with my old company, and have much more diversity on our team and within our customers, which is, again, a really great opportunity for you. So Tish, I know you wanted to share a little bit of your story about why you're here and the Direct Appoint program. So I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Awesome. It's hard to follow in your footsteps, Sarah, because basically you covered it all right now. No, but anyway, Sarah and I go way, but first of all, my name is Tish Mefford. I live in the Dallas, Texas area, and born and raised Texan. And Sarah and I have known each other and worked together for almost 13 years now. And she is just everything and more. So let me just first say, y'all, she is a really special soul, and I love her dearly. And I can't imagine being on this journey without her. But anyway, a little bit about myself. So I've been in the industry for about 13 years, and I was with, actually, let me just really quickly, I'm gonna change something on my, sorry. Okay. I was with a, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just being weird here. All right. I find that when I've got the view a certain way, I'm like over here looking at the side the whole time, and it's weird. Anyway, so I was with Sarah's company for 10 years. Prior to that, I was a small business owner for 10 years. And I actually turned to direct sales back in the fall of 2008 when Hurricane Ike hit the Texas Gulf Coast and the Houston economy tanked, and with that went my small business. So I turned to direct sales as a way to supplement my income for what I thought was going to be a short term while my business picked back up. Needless to say, I got involved. I fell in love with it, probably for many of the reasons you guys are in the industry as well, because I know those of you could dial in tonight currently likely work with other companies or have worked in the industry before. And I ended up closing my small business that I'd had of 10 years and building it big, so to speak, with my previous company. While at my previous company, I reached the highest level of the compensation plan. I was their top income earner. We had a team of, almost 10,000 women strong in 7 countries. And like Sarah, I never thought I would leave. I thought it was going to be my forever story. I had worked really hard to build the business. The team was like a family to me. I'm an extremely loyal person. I've been married to my college sweetheart for 26 years, like all the things. Like I just thought that was just how life was going to look for me. And I will say the first 5 years, it was incredible growth and we were unstoppable. And it was, everything you hope for and more. And then the second 5 years, I started seeing a lot of signs that kind of forced me to have to take the emotions out of it and put my business hat on. And just like Sarah mentioned, I was watching leaders. She was one. I see Kimber here on the call. Kimber was another leader with our former team. And I was watching leaders who were working as hard as they could work, and their incomes were going down, not up. I was watching people, work to achieve goals and work really hard and maybe hit the promotion they were working towards or reach the goal that they were working towards. And then they would turn around and they would leave because they just were exhausted. They'd worn themselves out. Maybe their spouse or partner had said enough is enough. And, the amount that you're working, it's not worth the income that you're earning. And we were just having a hard time keeping people there. And so I started getting phone calls from Park Lane, I'll be honest. And the first call I said, no, I'm not interested in learning more. The second call I said, no, I'm not interested in learning more. The third call I said, I'm not wasting your time nor my time. I'm not interested in learning more. And then for whatever reason, the universe spoke to me on that fourth phone call. And like Sarah says, I just kind of decided to take the advice that I would give anybody else if they were asking my opinion. And I thought to myself, I'm not going to leave my company, but it doesn't hurt to make another friend in the industry. It doesn't hurt to make another connection. Maybe one day I might need that connection. And I'm just going to go and learn. Maybe I'll learn something from today's meeting or from that meeting and, walk away with some new knowledge, new wisdom. So I decided to say yes and get the information. I took the meeting, and I have to tell you guys, I was 100%, 1000% blown away by everything that I learned that day, because what I learned was the big picture piece that I learned was I couldn't believe there was a company that existed that was doing things the way Park Lane was doing things. Like, that was probably my biggest takeaway. And I felt like they took all the pain points that at least we had experienced with the company that I was at, and they'd removed them. Like, they were non-existent, because what I had watched be problematic for a number of years was, like Sarah mentioned, people would work really hard to promote up a level, and then they wouldn't be able to maintain it. And then they would lose that level, and then they would feel like a failure, or they wouldn't be, maybe they were a current rank, but they weren't getting paid at that rank. And therefore they were, resentful because they were leaving money on the table. And that was very frustrating. I watched people spend so much money investing in the product that they were representing, and oftentimes spending more than what they were making. And clearly that's not a smart way to be in business. I was watching people, work towards trips that they weren't ever able to achieve. I mean, the list goes on and on. And so my eyes were opened that, wow, there's actually a company that exists where you don't lose your title. You get paid, you get paid at the career rank that you are, that you can earn over $1,000 in free product every single month. Are you kidding me? Like, we work to earn that in a year, things like that. I was just literally blown away by. And so at the end of the day, I decided that the risk was greater for me to stay than it was to leave and create a new partnership. I decided that I wasn't starting over, that I was starting with experience. I decided that partnering with a company that would set me up for success because they offered the programs that work so beautifully together. And I'll talk about those in a moment. I realized that was actually where the magic was, because I knew, I'm willing to work hard. I'm willing to find other people that love sharing the jewelry and building a business. But you've got to have the tools that are going to set you up for success. And Park Lane has done that so beautifully. And I wasn't here the first decade they were in business, or the second decade, or the third decade. I mean, maybe they made mistakes along the way in the beginning and they learned from them. I have no idea. All I can tell you is that they have a compensation plan that they haven't changed in like 37 years now. Like, when we were meeting with them, they hadn't changed it in like 34 years or 35 years. And I mean, that was like awesome, right? And I know that they are a cash-rich, debt-free still family owned and operated company. And the reason that is important, there's a reason that that is so important. It's important because they don't have someone they're having to answer to. They don't have investors they're having to answer to. They don't have investors that are expecting a return on their investment every quarter. They're able to take 72 to 73% of their of their expenses. 72 to 73% of their expenses go towards the compensation program. The compensation program alone, which is by far the best I've seen in the industry. And I don't know if Sarah mentioned this, she may have, but Park Lane pays our consultants 30 to 50% of everything you sell. If you come into Park Lane with no experience in the industry and you are walking in as an entry-level person, you are earning 30% from the day you join, 30% of what you sell. And the minute you hit 5,000 in sales, that bumps up to 32% of everything you sell. From that point forward, every single month, whether you sell $200 or $20,000. And then the minute you promote up to our first career level, which is bringing one team member along with you, the minute you bump up to that, you get a promotion or raise to 35% of everything you sell. Then our next leadership level, you bump to 40% of everything that you sell. So most of our leaders at Park Lane are earning 40 to 50% of what they sell. And I am here to tell you, you take motivated people that are motivated to build, and you pay them really well when they go out and sell. And guess what happens? We're motivated to go out and sell a lot more often, because when we're doing it, we're earning more. At my previous company, I earned 25 to 30% of what I sold any given month. And, I'll be honest that there were times that I wasn't super motivated to go out and sell a lot. And maybe I was hitting minimums. I mean, I'm not a minimum girl, but there were probably times that I was doing that. But here at Park Lane, I've been able to watch women come into this business with full-time jobs. They've come from other companies. They come in through our direct appoint program, which I'm going to explain in just a moment. So their experience is recognized. They come in, they're earning 40% of what they sell from day one. And 3 or 4 months later, they have a team of 8 to 10 people. They're earning $4,000 to $6,000 a month when you look at what they're personally selling and what they're earning on their team. And they're doing this around a full-time job. And we have a lot of examples of that. And that's just a handful of months in. So all of these things are reasons that it really spoke to me, because I know at the end of the day, and this was another thing that we saw and experienced with Park Lane. When we went to our first convention, it was so evident to us. There were women that had been with this company 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, 35 years. When we went on our first trip, we were meeting women that have had they've been on 50 something trips with Park Lane Jewelry all over the world. And for those of you that have been in this business quite some time, people stay when they're happy and people leave when they're not. And it was so evident to us that Park Lane was full of very happy people. And so when we made the decision to partner with Park Lane, we knew that at the end of the day, if we can build our future team of women and men that are happy and they feel valued and they feel they are earning what they are worth, and that when they do choose to work, that they are, earning what they expect and need, and Park Lane is helping them achieve what they need to do with this business, then we will have people that will stay for a really long time. And it won't be this revolving door, which is what we've been experiencing. So let me talk for a moment about the Direct Appoint program. So the way this program works is sometimes leaders with other companies are recommended through the program. So, and that was myself. I fell into that category. There was someone at Park Lane, another leader at Park Lane, who had heard of my success, heard of, what I'd done in the industry. And she recommended me through the program, which is how they got my information, and they started reaching out to me. But sometimes you can be recommended, or sometimes literally you may meet a stylist through, maybe some of you that have dialed in have been on a virtual party recently and met your stylist, and she mentioned that we have a program that recognizes leadership experience, and you're like, I want to learn more. But the way that program works is your experience is recognized, and if you choose to join Park Lane, you are brought in at a level comparable to what you accomplished at your previous company. And I like to use the analogy, it's no different than it would be in corporate America. My husband is a senior attorney with Honeywell, and he was hired from being a senior attorney at Dell. And he was brought in at an executive level. He is paid at an executive level. And he wasn't brought in as an entry-level attorney at Honeywell with his 20 plus years experience in the legal field. And that's how corporate America is. And Park Lane has a philosophy that why would it be any different in this industry as well? I love it because we have many women that join us that have spent 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years with other companies. And I know without a shadow of a doubt, and I probably would have fallen into this category as well, if I had to join Park Lane and start at the bottom and work my way all the way back up through all the promotion levels, I don't know, I may not have done it. I may have been like, yeah, I did that once. I just don't know that I can do it again. Now, am I rebuilding here? I'm absolutely rebuilding here, but I'm rebuilding at an executive company VP level. So I'm getting to take advantage of the compensation plan at my level from day one, starting with my personal sales. I earn 45 to 50% of everything that I sell from day one. So there are many perks that come as a result, but I think more than anything, has as much to do about the emotional impact that this direct appoint program has. Because again, and I'll be the first to admit that when you've worked really hard to achieve something, it's really hard to be demoted, and it's really hard to kind of start back over at the very bottom. Not that there's anything wrong with the bottom. We've all been at the bottom once. We've all been there, right? But I think the difference is at Park Lane, they respect experience, and they're willing to invest in experience because they know that, it takes leaders to build. And so anyway, I'm going to stop talking at that point. I probably said more than I needed to. Sarah, what did I leave off?
I love everything you said. I would love to, let's open it up for questions. And if you guys don't want to come live, I know I probably wouldn't have wanted to come live and say anything. So thank you for even being here. But if you guys want to write something in the chat, we would love to do that. I was going to say something that you and I always talk about. I can't think of the name of that show, but it's, The Prophet with
Marcus Lemonis.
Yeah, there's 3 things that are important. And I remember feeling this way at the beginning, was that there's 3 Ps, right? People, product, and programs that are what's really important when you're looking at doing something like this. And the people I can speak for are the most genuine, amazing. They're a wonderful family. Like, you will not find a member of their family not working through in one different area of the company, which is great. And the programs we've already talked about, I just think they all dovetail to really help you do your job better. I know for me, like when I was working before in my other company, I don't think I was great at booking parties from parties or doing some of those things. And I mean, I don't think it wasn't because I wasn't doing the work. I think because I didn't have the programs to offer my customers and hostesses. And I'm booking 2 and 3 parties from every party now, which is something I never thought I would say ever. And even after doing that for 10 years. And I know a lot of us are seeing a lot of success with that. So, and then the products, of course, like I said, the jewelry is high quality, beautiful stones, beautiful settings, just something for everybody. So it's definitely I don't know. I'm really glad I decided to do this.
Sarah, I want to add something because there was something you just mentioned that I forgot to mention earlier, and that is, I want to backtrack for a second because I think if you could have a company that's got the best compensation plan on the planet, but if you don't have the programs in place, if you don't have the products in place, like Sarah mentioned, none of it would matter, right? And what we saw that was so unique and so special with Park Lane is it is how all the programs work together. It starts with our customer sale. All right. For those of you that maybe haven't had a chance to experience our customer sale, our buying plan is like nothing you've ever experienced before. And customers absolutely love it. And what happens is hostesses love, or potential hostesses, customers love it so much, they want to turn around and share it with their friends. So there's a huge motivation factor that for them to want to share it with their friends, which then leads to a future booking. All right. Then we have our host plan. Our host plan is so extremely lucrative. Most of our hostesses end up with $400 plus in free product. And our host plan is based on number of orders, not total sales. So a host receives $20 in credit for every order placed. And the orders could be a $20 pair of studs. I mean, it can be any amount. But if the host gets to 10 orders, then that doubles to $40 in credit per order or $400 in free product. So you can only imagine how motivated a host gets when all of a sudden she's at 6 or 7 orders and you're like, dude, 3 more orders and your rewards go from 140 to 400. They're like, I'm on it. Okay. So then the hosts are super motivated to bring in the orders, right? And they're getting rewarded. And then they're telling their friends, okay, you need to do a party. It's like so simple. You know, Tish does all the posting. She goes live in the event. You do a few reminders, like you'd be crazy not to. So those two programs work very closely hand in hand together. Then we've got our programs from the stylist side of things that also work hand in hand together. We have our Rich Rewards program where our stylists can earn free product up to $1,100, I believe, every single month. And the first marker is when a stylist submits $1,000 in sales by the middle of the month. And when they've done that by the middle of the month, they get the first level of that program is they get $250 in free product. And that happens every single month. So if you have a very part-time team member who just wants to do a little, you're like, well, do a little the first 2 weeks of the month, and then you're going to get $250 in product credit every single month when you do that. You do that 12 months, you've gotten $3,000 in product gifted to you by the company just by going out and doing your job. Okay. Then we have our trip, our international travel. It's twice a year. I don't think Sarah or I mentioned this, which is we were so excited, or she did mention this. We were so excited about the trips because these trips were so doable at any level. And you didn't have to be a top seller. You could be consistent in your business and earn that trip. And that really spoke to us on our second trip, which was to Italy. 10% of our team earned that trip. 10% earned that trip. And talk about creating, what's the word I'm looking for? People not leaving. What's that word? That word.
Retention.
Retention. Talk about retention. You help people earn a trip to Italy, Rome, Italy. They're not going anywhere because they want to be on the next one, right? So that works in tandem with our Mercedes car program. It's like we've had girls these last few months that have promoted, earned the trip, and qualified for the Mercedes all in the same month. I mean, yeah. I mean, this has happened on Sarah and Kimber's team, all in the same month. Women have done all 3 in the same month because they work so closely together. So Park Lane has really been wise in that respect, which is why 65 years later, they are still going strong, still growing. We are year over year, we've had like 100% growth. I mean, it's something crazy. And And Park Lane has grown a lot the last 2.5 years, like what they look like and and the product and the technology. And they recognized when we joined 2.5 years ago that it was time for a refresh. Our CEO Scott says about every 15 to 20 years, like we have to do a facelift. We have to rebrand. We have to, do new packaging. And it was time. And the company looks very different today than it did 2.5 years ago when we joined. And we've all gotten to play a part of this. Like it's been really, Kimber, who's sitting here, I'm not putting you on the spot here, Kimber, but Kimber's like a total fashion icon. And she has been able to give suggestions and play a part in pieces that have there was a necklace named after Kimber, for goodness sakes. Like there's been really exciting things that have happened. So it's been, what I've loved about Park Lane is they listen. They're very smart. They actually really listen to the field, and they let the field tell them what they want and need. And then they work to deliver upon that. So I found that very unique.
So somebody is asking about, well, first of all, someone asked, how would they decide where they would potentially start out at? So I would definitely email the person or talk to the person that invited you. And then you probably would need to get an interview. We would set you up with an interview with our national sales director, especially if you have a sizable team, depending on where you would come in or, there's so many factors. But that's kind of they're so one-off that it would definitely be a side conversation. And then you were asking about the vehicle program. What's really great about the Mercedes program is that it's a cash bonus. So if you don't want a new car, you don't need to get a new car. In fact, Kimberly Brock just popped on. She's one of my newest area leaders that just got her car bonus. And she bought a totally different car because she didn't want a Mercedes. It doesn't fit into her lifestyle. So you make the, the agreement directly with the car dealership, right? And then Park Lane pays you every month when you earn that, either a $500 cash bonus or a $700 cash bonus if you drive the Mercedes. So it's totally up to you, or you could just take the cash and run. Like it doesn't matter, but the car is really fun.
And the way the program works is at each, the level started our first level, which is branch director, and the qualifications increase as you bump up to the higher levels of the compensation plan. But the qualifications are very doable at each particular level, depending on whatever your level is. I know we've got Sally Anglam. I see Sally just popped back on. Sally qualified for the Mercedes program. Like in her third or fourth month, maybe. Is that right, Sally? Yeah, like third or fourth month. And she has not currently gotten a Mercedes, but she works towards that cash bonus many months. She's focused on it many months. And there's been some months that she hasn't hit it. And then there's been some months that she has. So the beautiful thing is if you are working it and every month that you hit it, you receive either, like Sarah said, 500 or 700, depending. I chose, because I was kind of like, I've never driven a Mercedes before. And it was like right before my 50th birthday. And I thought, no better time. So I've been driving the Mercedes for a little over 2 years now. And I went to the dealership and I was able to get into a Mercedes where that bonus covers that payment. And it feels really great.
Does anybody else have any more questions? You girls have the experience. So I'm assuming you guys might have some pretty detailed questions, which we'd love to answer.
So anything else we missed? Sally, I see we've got Sally, Bethany, Kimber. Anything that you think we should touch on that we haven't, that you feel is maybe beneficial for maybe someone that's dialed in that you've invited?
We are recording, yes.
I just think you guys really covered everything. I think this has been amazing. And I know this is the second one of these that I have participated in. And it's just wild to be sitting here going, yes, all of that, everything they're saying is, when I will say, when I started, I didn't have direct sales experience except for like 27 years ago. But anyway, really had no idea. I thought I'm going to jump in because I've never heard of this company. And I met Tish on a girls' weekend when I was in Texas, and I thought, I know that no one in this community where I live sells this, but I love the jewelry and the unconditional warranty and the amazing discounts that you can get and all of that. And I thought, I know that I can make a business out of this. And then I also thought, well, and if I can't, if I find that I just can't, or it's not for me, I'll have a boatload of jewelry to show for it. And you guys talked about how Park Lane, I can't remember how you said, drowning in jewelry. I tell people all the time, they are always throwing jewelry at me. I have too much. That's not possible, but I have so much. And that so many things took me by surprise when I thought, oh, I'll just see what happens. I had no idea I was going to fall into this treasure tribe, which is all these incredible entrepreneurial women who want nothing more than to help all of us succeed. You share everything with us, you collaborate, we come up with ideas together of how to promote our own businesses, and just the sharing is unbelievable. So all of that came as a complete surprise to me because I just thought, oh, I'll just have a lot of jewelry to play with, and see if I can build a business, because it felt very ground level because no one around here sells Park Lane. So I thought, this is how I always wondered, how did that first Rodan and Fields person in an area come along? And how did that first Avon lady discover Avon without it being saturated? And so I thought, this is it. And that's why I started. So anyway, that's it.
I'm going to just give kudos to Sally for a moment, because Sally literally did join in January, and she had sold toys with Discovery Toys like 25 plus years prior, when one of her or a couple of her 5 children were very small and young. But she's the perfect example. She has come in, she earned the trip to Ireland. She is now earning the trip to Bermuda. She has qualified for our Mercedes car program. She is on her way to a big promotion. And all of this has happened during a pandemic. I mean, she launched her business a month before we went into quarantine. So it just goes to show you that when you are giving tools to set you up for success, it makes the business very doable for someone, whether they are brand new or extremely experienced. Sold something before, never sold anything before. Love jewelry, have hardly, haven't worn much jewelry, but willing to share because, they love the idea of the business. And something else that I'll speak to that you talked about, ground floor. I really looked at this when I partnered with Park Lane. I looked at this as a ground floor opportunity with an experienced company, because I knew that my generation and younger did not know Park Lane. I knew my mom's generation likely had been to a Park Lane party. I knew, my grandmother's generation knew Park Lane, had been to Park Lane parties, but I knew that my generation and younger was not familiar with Park Lane. So to me, I looked at it as it is a ground floor opportunity with an established company that knows what they're doing and has the financial backing when things like a pandemic hit. I'll give you guys a perfect example. Park Lane has been through really tough experiences in the world previously. Like they made it through the Spanish flu. I mean, you could get our CEO talking about some of the things that his mom and dad had to do when things got really tough in the world. So when this pandemic hit, and I mean, we were all going into quarantine and everybody was, the entire world was really afraid about the future before, things started settling in. Park Lane immediately, the Levines immediately came together and decided we've got to do something to support these women, because these women have bills to pay and we've got to keep them in business. And so they immediately came out with a customer special where our customers could get a free item, $100 value or less. I'm not kidding. For 2 months, wasn't it 2 months, girls? We were giving our customers a free item of $100 value or less. You talk about building momentum. We sold more jewelry in April and May than we ever thought possible. And it's because people were like, well, I mean, it's too good it's too good to pass up. I have to do it because I can get a free item up to $100 value. I mean, who wouldn't want to partake in that? So it takes having a company that is really rock solid in the financial department to be able to offer a promotion like that. Anything else?
I want to say one more thing because we probably are getting close here, but please ask more questions if you have them. But I just wanted to say, when I joined direct sales, 12 years ago, I didn't really know anything. I just liked the product. I signed up, I worked hard, I did what I could. And then I didn't really, like I said, we were talking about, I didn't realize there was a company out here that even had programs like this. And I was not looking to do something else. And maybe you are, maybe you aren't. But at least I just want to say I'm excited that you guys came to learn more information and that you're open to hearing it, because I'm so glad I did. And I just, hindsight is 2020, right? I look back and I'm like, well, wow, if I'd had this compensation program with that, it would have been all of these things. But everything that we've said tonight has just been it's fascinating is the word that we use, about when you have those 3 Ps, the products, the people, and the programs together, and you're a driven individual and you want to make this work, it's amazing where it can take you. And I'm speaking from 2 years of building what I had in 10 years back in 2 years has been a pretty incredible feeling. And I don't think I would have been able to do that without the programs and this company behind me. So does anybody have any more questions?
I'm going to speak for a moment on fear, because as you were talking, I was sitting here thinking, what are the people that are listening thinking right now? I think one of the biggest pieces that almost convinced us not to make a move was the fear. Fear is huge and it's scary. So if you are very interested, but you're like, I am scared to death to do something like this, so are we. Fear is it's a real thing. But that's where you got to go do your due diligence. That's where you got to get educated. And we're just touching the surface here. We're literally touching the surface. So if you are intrigued, if you are interested, please reach out to your stylist. Or this is the deal, Park Lane is happy to talk to you or someone that very confidentially. So I'm going to give you my phone number, and then Sarah can give her number. And even if you're like, okay, I'm not ready to say something to the person that invited me, but I am interested in confidentially getting the information so that you can get educated. One of the national directors can give you the information where it is 100% confidential. Nobody has to know. And then you've been educated, and then you've got it, and then you do with it as you wish. So my cell number is 713-385-7317. That's 713-385-7317. I'm going to let Sarah give hers as well. And you guys are welcome to reach out to us in confidence. Of course, the person that invited you is the person that would get credit for you if you decided you wanted to join Park Lane, but we are happy to help you have those confidential meetings if that's something you're interested in. Sarah.
I just put everything in the chat. So.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Yeah. There's Sarah's number in the chat. Sorry.
And yours.
And mine. She's so good. Thank you. Okay. Anything else? All right. Well, thank you all so much. So great to see those face. Kimber, Bethany, Sally, thank you for joining us. And for those that dialed in, I hope this info was helpful, and we're here to answer any questions. So thanks, everybody. Bye.